Hello and welcome to Unparliamentary Mayhem, a mishmashed podcast that will take us into the realms of social combat! That's okay,
Boris
he only
Johnson.
sung like 3 bars, and so that's not a copyright strike. So, you might have guessed from those voices that there's slightly more people on this podcast than usual. This is a crossover episode with the team at Mishmash Mayhem. And who are Mishmash Mayhem?
Don't know. Yeah,
I was expecting CK to go first.
I didn't know if he was going to... Oh, sorry. It's me, Chris.
Yo, and I'm Wade.
You may have remembered Wade from such episodes as us talking about the Nintendo Switch. And I think this might be the first time CK has joined... I realise that's for Hat Many Things that Wade joined us to talk about the Switch. But my point is, Wade has been on the Hat Many Things sometimes, and CK is the person who edits and runs Mishmash Mayhem, which is about 2 fictional characters fighting in a potentially dangerous place or occasionally on a Southwest train.
Yes, that was my favourite arena so far.
That is my favourite arena. I love that. It was hilarious.
I mean, Southwest trains can be dangerous too.
We know someone who's a British Transport police officer, and yeah, if you get in front of a train, they can be pretty bad for you.
The statement of the century.
That's how I like it, Rob.
Ultimately, it depends how fast the train is moving.
I mean, yeah, standing in front of a non-moving train is entirely safe, I would like to think.
Unless it gets reared by another train.
Trainception. We're getting into trainception now.
Yeah. So, in an attempt to herd cats, there's a lot of us here on this episode, and we're all used to hosting, which is why it's going to be a bit interesting. So, what is this episode? What are we doing? We're doing a mashed up episode with the people at Mishmash Mayhem. Kind of, I think the basic idea, I'll summarise the basic idea, and then CK and Wade are going to introduce us to the rules and how this works, because they do this much more often. The basic idea is we're going to have 2 competitors who are fictional characters, and then they're going to take a political stance, and Rob and I are going to have them argue it out with probably random questions from the other hosts. Does that sound about right to everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So, CK and Wade, would you like to explain how Mishmash Mayhem works and how we've modified it for this show?
Okay, so usually we would bring in 2 fictional characters, and we would get them to fight to the death, or at least to the point there was a clear winner. I think that's only happened once, where it's not been to the death. And then that person would then, lord it up and continue to our next episode. As far as I'm aware, this is going to be a one-off, so the winner will not stay on. But who knows?
I believe the winner's going to stay on until there's a vote from the Parliament by the Fixed Term Parliament Act, until we have another one.
So are you saying we're having an Unparliamentary Mayhem every 5 years unless there's another general election?
Exactly, yeah.
I love it.
I think that's perfectly reasonable. Yeah, so that's kind of how our usual Mishmash Mayhem would normally work. But I'm sure you all know that because you listen to it all the time.
I do. I listen to every episode. Your biggest fan.
Thank you.
Yay!
I mean, yeah, I think you might be. But what we're going to do here is we're going to provide them with fictional characters to do a political debate. What debate did you decide on? Are you doing Trump and Merkel?
I think it was Trump and Merkel to be world leader.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds good to me. I think that's more fun than Brexit.
Yes. I mean, I think the aforementioned standing in front of a train is more fun than Brexit.
Bollocks! Sorry, that was my bollocks to Brexit.
We've got some Lib Dems in the audience. No, it's fine. Okay.
So yeah, so we'll introduce the fictional characters we have decided, and then we'll give you a bit of information about them that might help you guys determine what their political stance may be. And then you guys can pick what side of the debate they will be on, hopefully opposing sides, otherwise this would be really awkward.
Yep.
Yes, and one of them will debate towards Trump being the new world leader, and the other will debate towards Merkel being the new world leader. I don't know if at some point in that you also want to do a quick rundown of what each Trump and Merkel stand for as a rough idea.
Probably a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
So yeah, I mean that's basically what we're going to do today. I don't know which you'd rather do first, the fictional characters or the real characters.
We need to know that characters are, so then we can describe Merkel and Trump and see how they line up, because we at the moment have no idea. That gives us more time to think, basically.
All right, that's fine.
Love it. Who's going to have who?
I think I'm going to be less good at playing devil's advocate than Rob. So I think Rob should be petitioning for Trump, even if he might slightly hate himself for doing it. I think he'll be better at it.
I'm fine with that. Let's do that.
Oh, okay, so you're going to decide which character you have based on which one you think would go for that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure... Actually, I don't know which way around. I know bugger all about politics.
No, I mean, I think that's easiest for us, because I think, like, trying to argue for Merkel is a thing I'll be slightly better at doing than the other way around. That'll be more interesting. And so if I take that, and then whichever character I get that character.
That's absolutely fine.
Cool.
Well, so if we describe the characters to you, then you can pick which one you feel fit your agenda more. Is that the way you want to do it?
Yeah,
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's probably the best way.
Cool. I've just done a lot of chatting, so Wade, do you want to do your character first?
All right. Okay, right. So I'm not going to lie. I tried to GIF them. I tried to type in their name, and this is the first GIF that comes up. It doesn't explain anything at all, and it's in Russian.
Okay, great.
The person is not Russian.
This gift will be going in the show notes.
So, how many of you like Disney films?
I do.
I've seen a few, yes.
You've seen a few. Excellent. Which one would you say is like one of the better Disney films that you would rewatch now and think, man, I still enjoy that film?
I suppose the one I'm most likely to rewatch is probably Lion King, the animated one, not the one that's currently in the cinema. I mean, it doesn't have a good villain song. I won't watch the new one again.
I'm
Sorry,
a big
Rob.
Emperor's New Groove fan.
Ooh.
And Kronk. Kronk is pretty good.
Kronk is genuinely one of the best characters ever invented.
Yeah.
I think. And that comes from somebody who's got a writing degree, so...
All right, fair enough. Well, unfortunately, this person is from neither of those two films. I was going for a nice historical Mulan.
Ooh, I do like Mulan.
My character is not Mulan. It is indeed the leader of the Huns, Shan Yu. Shan Yu, dig it? Yes, we can.
So are you saying that now all of China knows we're here?
Yes. All of China knows we're here because the Huns are invading China, led by Shan Yu. So a little bit of background about Shan Yu. I mean, to be fair, there isn't much background on Shan Yu other than he's like, what are they called? Like Hun mercenary, I guess. He's not even a mercenary. He's just the leader.
General of the
Warlord?
army.
Yeah, general, lord. I don't know. It doesn't tell me. It doesn't have his
Him and
rank.
his Huns.
Yeah, him and his Huns. But yeah, Shan Yu is the leader of the Han army that is invading China in the film Mulan, thwarted in a historically 100% accurate and recreated battle. Hashtag not at all accurate or historically recreated. His entire army, pretty much, apart from only a couple of people, is bested by an avalanche. I mean, it happens to a lot of people. That avalanche was, of course, created by Mulan with her little fiery rocket cannon. And he's pretty pissed off about it. And indeed, he's so pissed off about it that when he's got an opportunity to kill, I can't remember who's the main dude, the main happy dude?
Mushu.
No, not the dragon,
Okay.
the love interest.
Oh, the like general.
Yeah, the general. Oh, it's Li Shang.
Li Shang, yes.
Right.
Singing
so
voice provided by Donny Osmond, just so you know. Donny Osmond, the
Yes.
least Chinese man. Like, just the least Chinese man. Doesn't need any qualification.
No, I still think like the worst thing for like that of casting ever is in Highlander when they've got Sean Connery playing a guy who's Spanish who spent his entire life living in Egypt. That's the worst casting I've ever seen.
Oh dear. But anyway, he has an opportunity to kill Li Shang in the palace in some kind of celebrations at the defeat of old Shan Yu. But when Mulan reveals to him that it was actually her who just ruined him, he's like, "You stole my defeat," and goes chasing her instead, which ultimately leads to his incredibly excellent demise. I mean, if you're going to go, you want to go. By the way, spoilers for a 1998 Disney film. If you're gonna go, you want to go up in fireworks, really, don't you?
I mean, that's quite a cool way to go. I mean, it'll be memorable.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite hurt.
Beautiful.
Yeah. The thing is, like, someone could record that. Like, because people record people dying all the time, right? And it could be put on YouTube and it wouldn't get taken down because it wouldn't be horribly graphic. It would just be really cool. That's what I think about that. Anyway, Shan Yu, he's well known for having a is it a pet? Is it? I don't know. He's got a pet falcon. Or is it a hawk?
It's a bird. Can he see through the eyes of the bird? When I was watching Mulan, I was always like, is he like a warg or something? Is it suggested that he's a warg, or does he just have a really close bond with that bird?
They just have a really good
Okay.
bond with his bird. Is that it? Yeah. It's it's a falcon. There we go, and it's called Hayabusa. I probably butchered that.
Hayabusa, that well-known ninja name.
Yeah. So he's got a falcon. So Shan Yu, we're going to go back a bit. Who do you think Shan Yu was based on? I bet you can't guess. Or, who was he inspired by? This might help you out with your debate soon.
Is it Andrea Leadsom?
Who, sorry?
Sorry. Ignore me.
Who did you say?
Rob said Andrea Leadsom.
I don't know who that is.
Not current Speaker of the House, was Speaker of the House before Jacob Rees-Mogg came in.
What, Jacob Rees-Mogg is now Speaker of the House?
Yep.
Yeah. Don't you listen to our podcast? Oh, just... Never mind.
I have listened to your podcast. It's basically all I know of politics.
Thank you. I'm sorry that's all you know of politics.
Yeah, I might recommend you also look to other sources.
Anyway, yes, you're going to have an educated guess as to who his inspiration might be.
Attila the Hun or Genghis Khan.
Boom!
One of those.
Right, there are the two inspirations for Shan Yu. Genghis Khan and Attila the Hun. Both completely different people, but, similar in style. Genghis Khan was the leader of the Mongols, the Mongol hordes, and Attila the Hun was a Hun who possibly killed his brother, Bleda, but we don't really know. It's unsure whether he killed his brother or he let his brother die on a hunting trip for a boar, or whether he just died on the hunting trip. But either way, after Bleda died, Attila the Hun got the old throne. Attila the Hun, bless him, he died choking on his own blood the night before he was due to marry his wife. And Genghis Khan, I don't know how he died. Let's find out. He probably got murdered or something. Again, it's unknown, but they suggest he might have died after falling off his horse, which is probably incredibly embarrassing.
I love I've been posting a few things. I don't know, the Disney wiki, the fandom wiki, is amazing. I love that it has under likes violence, striking fear, power, and his falcon.
Yes.
He also dislikes the emperor and failure.
Yeah, see, I must feel a slightly different one because it's got dislikes the emperor, challenges, failure, and anything good.
Just anything good.
Anything good.
Also, I hadn't realised that he's listed as actually having superhuman strength, which is quite impressive.
Well, I mean, he's pretty bulky, isn't he?
And he climbs out of the aforementioned avalanche that kills his entire men.
That's true. I would have seen it as I would have probably said, cartoon endurance, I suppose.
A plot necessity.
Yeah, necessary to survive for the plot to be interesting.
And cartoons are really big on people surviving for plot reasons.
But yeah, what's interesting to note about Shan Yu though is he was originally from the north of China. That's what it says here. And one of his quotes, this should give you some idea of what he's thinking in himself, is by building this wall, he challenged my strength. Well, I'm here to play his game. Obviously referring to the Great Wall of China and not a neighbour's wall in a garden dispute or something. So
but that
obviously
would be a challenger, and either for the war would dislike them.
Yes. How dare you take 10 centimeters of my gut from me? I'll show you. And then he like invades with like 17,000 horsemen. Just stampeding through the house. But yeah, there's a quick summary of Shan Yu. Han leader, invades China based on Genghis Khan and Attila the Hun. Likes conquering things, dies by a firework, has a pet falcon.
Arquez.
So, see, it says north of China. I think he's just from the north. That's what it was saying.
Yeah.
Oh. I mean, it says North China here. I believe. Oh no, north of China. Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
He has to be north of China, because if he's in the North China, then he's attacking the wall from the south, and he's attacking from within inside China, which completely defeats the point, I think.
Oh god, it's an inside job.
Oh dear. You can slightly edit that into me not sounding like an idiot. Fine.
Good.
Or you could leave it so I sound like a total idiot.
Fun fact: Shan Yu is the equivalent of being called Khan in a certain Han tribe. So that's probably where they got his name.
That is cool.
Can we do a Shatner style Khan as well?
Khan!
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 You have to do the echo. The thing about that clip that everyone forgets, I think, is that it just echoes for like a minute. Like it's just him saying Khan over and over again as an echo. It's hilarious. So that's one of our fictional characters. Do we want to describe the next one first and then talk about how they tie into people? I think that probably makes sense.
I agree.
Because you could find someone more evil.
Yes. I assure you that if the next character is more evil, something has gone pretty horribly wrong. Because basically, I came up to Wade and I was like, hey, so I've got this idea to incorporate this character. I think it would be fun. And Shan Yu was very much his response to that. So the character I am bringing for you guys, kind of sticking with the whole family wholesome Disney vibe, is Mickey Mouse.
Oh boy!
That was too good. I was disturbed by that.
So Mickey Mouse is the face of the Disney Corporation, and therefore is supposed to represent everything that Disney stands for, which officially is fun, dreams, and the ability to bring families together.
Is it also only ever killing bad guys through falls, apart from very rare occasions where they don't die by falls?
It's really convenient if people die from falls because they can land off screen. And then firstly, they don't have to depict a death to children. And secondly, they can come back for a sequel. Because everybody knows if they don't die on screen, they're not dead.
That's
well,
true.
in fact.
That's very true.
But yeah. So the first thing I did for this is I Googled political interpretations of Mickey Mouse. And it might surprise you to know that does not yield much.
I mean, that sounds like what... I mean, it really does sound like that would be an absolutely amazing dissertation to submit at uni. So I'm surprised someone hasn't done it.
Well, I'll get on to what I did find that was quite useful. But what that initially gave me was the only story I could find was from an Irish newspaper that in 1989, the Lord Mayor of Dublin, Shan Yu, I want to say, did a photo with Mickey Mouse and weirdly Dopey from the Seven Dwarfs to publicise Walt Disney's World on Ice. And the photo was designed so that Shan Yu was leaning to the left and therefore subconsciously reinforcing his left-wing political ideas in people's minds. Which, yeah. So there you go. So that suggests that there is, at least in Ireland, left-wing politics supports Disney and therefore Mickey Mouse.
I mean, it's a bit of a stretch, but I mean, I definitely think Mickey Mouse, based on the documentary video games, the Kingdom Hearts series, is one of the good guys.
Documentary series.
Sorry, Wilker, can you just briefly summarise the plot of the Kingdom Hearts games, please, in 2 to 3 sentences?
No. The answer is
okay,
no.
Cool. Fair enough.
But what I can do is present you with this amazing video that will be in the show notes. Give me a second.
I mean, I could give you a description of Kingdom Hearts in 2 to 3 sentences. It's Sora loses his friends, then he tries to find them.
I mean, that okay. I suppose that's very.
Goofy is there also.
Yeah. Donald and Goofy lose the king and are trying to find him. It's a lot of people getting lost and people trying to find them.
And also a lot of people being like, hey, you person with obviously anime evil hair, you must be a good guy and I'll believe you right now. Oh no! How the turns table! Every other scene.
How the turns table.
But yes, in the show notes, there's a link.
I mean, yeah, I was even going to bring the Kingdom Hearts version of Mickey into this. I was going to do it at the end, but as we've mentioned it, I feel he's very much got the ideologies. If you kind of want to look at a slightly sinister turn of it, where he's very much like, everybody do your job and things will work out, kind of like a socialist communist sort of ideology. But very much, your job is what I tell you to be. So he's kind of like the person on top that you have to have in communism.
Right, okay.
I mean, that's a slightly cynical way of viewing his character in Kingdom Hearts, certainly in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Are you telling me that he is the equivalent of me in the Wyvern communist dictatorship?
Yes.
Excellent. That's a reference to a political party we formed back at Wyvern for some mock elections.
I see. That's a deep cut for people who know you in real life.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, even people who know you in real life, very few of them get that reference.
Barely any will.
Yeah. So Mickey is supposed to stand against evil and focus on the good of the people over the good of the individual. That is something that he is designed to represent. And Mickey has become a face of globalization, which due to his worldwide fame, and is therefore come to represent the idea of bringing the whole world together into one community. This is why at every Disney theme park around the world, they have the same images of Mickey Mouse, so he's familiar and instantly recognizable to everyone. And then the idea of globalization has been linked to the philosophy of Marshall McLuhan, who is a Canadian philosopher, who put forward the idea of the global village, which is a society linked by the uprising of social and electronical media, where that replaces oral and visual culture. So it basically suggests that the world can be united as one culture when we connect through technology rather than our own individual cultures. Which, yeah, this is an idea that sort of Disney are kind of behind. Not necessarily the technological advances of it, but the whole idea of the world uniting together. The Disney Corporation has even said that they're trying to make Mickey a global symbol, which they can use to create a global community based on happiness, which is a really cool idea. Mickey is also used to promote interpersonal intelligence, which is to say the intelligence based on other people, as he promotes a sense of engagement with others and different cultures and backgrounds. But despite this, their idea was that he's not going to take away the importance of interpersonal intelligence, which is the intelligence based on viewing oneself, as he demonstrates the ability to trust in his own abilities and walk towards his individual goals. There you go, that's my bit of sounding intelligent. So yeah, although I don't know, they've not necessarily tried to use Mickey himself. Like they've tried to make him a global symbol to this point more than the character, because there aren't really very many Mickey Mouse cartoons anymore. He's just kind of now become an icon.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying about Kingdom Hearts, probably the biggest thing he's been in recently has been in Kingdom Hearts 3 as like a major character who gets screen time. Whereas he used to have all the shorts and everything, and now
He still wears shorts.
Hey.
had a cool biker jacket in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
He got the memo about wearing red and black leather.
That was because they tried to change his costume in each Kingdom Hearts to look more like Sora.
That is a choice.
It very much is a choice.
I could spend all this podcast talking about Kingdom Hearts, crazy things it does, but I shan't. I won't go down that.
The one sort of disadvantage to Mickey becoming like this sort of big global symbol of, bringing everyone together, is there is the counter argument where, although Mickey is intended to show happiness and like the ability for people's dreams to come true, due to the financial applications associated with buying Disney merch or watching their films or visiting their parks, he can actually be seen as a symbol for people with little to no income, as like the unattainable utopia. And the fact that he seems to ignore the delusion that he seems to ignore the harsher truths of reality, and that to a poor person he might seem like something you can't have, and therefore you can't have happiness and dreams coming true. That is one potential counter argument, but that is not his intentionality. It's just something that cynical people could argue.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone would say the Disney Corporation is like the absolute bastion of good choices, but
No.
any large global corporation based out of the US probably isn't. So, this is the fictional character as opposed to us judging the Disney Corporation on its morals.
Yeah, absolutely. I just, I thought it was an interesting point. And the fact that it can show maybe his delusional, like he definitely wants good things, but can ignore potentially, I don't know, like the worst aspects of life is maybe potentially a interesting spin you could. But yeah, essentially that is Mickey Mouse's jam. He's all about goodwill and happy times.
So I suppose we now have to assign these characters to our debate. And, I mean, I don't know about you, Rob, but I feel like there might be quite a clear choice that's been presented to us here.
Yes, yeah, no, it is clear. I think Shan Yu, with his obvious dislike of walls, will be for Merkel. Oh, were you thinking? Okay, yeah, no, okay, yeah. I think we can flip it. Yeah, okay. So Shan Yu for Trump, Mickey Mouse for Merkel. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I think possibly the only thing Shan Yu might struggle with is, as you say, the wall aspect. But I think the other stuff they might be firmly aligned.
I think you'll be able to come up with a good solution for that, to keep the Chinese out.
Well, I think after his experience with the battle at the wall, he knows that walls work. Oh,
that's true. Yeah,
yeah, he's got it in his head. So yeah, I feel that he's now pro wall.
My battle experience, this is my Shan Yu voice, has taught me that big walls are big benefits.
Yeah.
You can use that one later.
Slogan. Big walls, big benefits.
I've realised, having looked, Shan Yu doesn't do much talking,
which is fine. Trump is a man of few words.
I wanted an example for like trying to do a voice, and there isn't much.
How often did Shan Yu tweet? Did he tweet lots?
I mean, he had a falcon.
He had a bird.
He had a bird. That's brilliant. He had a bird. He literally has a bird. He was the original tweeter. He was sending his hawk up in the air to do his bidding before he did his action. Yeah, okay, Shan Yu, definitely Trump.
Yeah, and the rest of his army were like, oh, that fucking bird, he's speaking nonsense again.
Exactly.
So, yeah, do we want to have a structure to this debate, or are we just going to have at it, Rob?
I think the normal structure to a debate is a sort of an opening sentence, just us affirming why we think our character supports that worldview. And then we can have a bit of a back and forth, and then maybe a closing statement. And then maybe at the end, CK and Wade can decide who is the winner, because we can't judge ourselves. And then...
as a popular YouTube series would have us know, who won, you decide.
Precisely.
Are you going to have some open questions, or are you not going to have some open questions?
But please, I would love some questions from the floor as well. So yeah, if there are any, maybe after our opening statement. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get some very unpolitically informed questions.
That's fine. I'm ready for them.
Without further ado, social combat. Theme plays.
I don't know the theme tune.
No, I just go into Giles' theme every time. That's my problem.
Street Fighter.
The theme is.
Mortal Kombat.
Mem ring ding 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 ring ding 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 mem ring ding 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 ring ding 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 mem.
How do we make Rob stop? I'm not sure.
Okay, sorry.
I'll just go make a cup of tea. I'll be back.
Still singing the Crazy Frog. Right, okay. Who wants to start?
Well,
rock, paper, scissors for it? It's a great 1, 2, 3, then we do it, and then the winner goes first.
Send gifs. On my count of 5, you send gifs of your rock, paper, or scissors.
Okay.
And then it'll be really obvious. Yeah?
Yeah.
So start typing, and on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Well, okay, you win
Rock-
with the
rock,
old
paper,
rocking
scissors.
parrot.
Wow.
That was the
Okay.
top hit for scissors.
Yeah,
Was that the top hit for rock?
it was the top hit for rock. Yes. So
Excellent.
parrots should not have arms. Okay, that's a debate for another podcast. Right. Yeah. So I'm going to be representing Shan Yu, who's going to believe that Trump should be the new world leader. Couple of reasons why Shan Yu sort of like matches up with Trump so well. Trump has obviously quite an insular worldview. He puts America first, and I feel that Shan Yu is going to put the Huns first in front of everything. He dislikes the globalization of the world and what's going on. He doesn't want some weird sort of monoculture. He wants other people to be proud of their own. Also, I wouldn't say Shan Yu is a great talker or a great thinker. He doesn't really respect that in the people that he fights. So going up against somebody like Merkel, I feel he'd be quite, he wouldn't want to support somebody like Merkel. He'd be well up for a leader, a strongman leader like Trump, taking control of the direction of the planet. I think that's basically it. Oh, and the Hawk, I guess. Yeah, the Hawk, the original TweetDeck. The best way to get your message across. It goes right over, you don't have to go through the lamestream media. You can just go straight to the people with a hawk to the face. So that's why Shan Yu is going to be supporting Trump.
Mickey Mouse, as we discussed, big on globalization and bringing the world together. And I think probably you could say that lines up well with Merkel's kind of view of essentially, while she's not head of the EU, like Germany is the biggest contributor to the EU. And so in some ways, she is almost the head of the EU in that sense, the kind of de facto largest power. And one of the most powerful women in the world. Some would probably say she is the most powerful woman in the world. I think that would seem reasonable. And so I think kind of she is involved in globalization. EU kind of is breaking down of borders in the same way that there's the breaking down of borders when you look at entertainment media, and like we were discussing earlier with Disney and the kind of global reach. So I think that's kind of very easily aligned. And while she's not the most left-leaning and the most liberal leader out there, I think it kind of lines up. It's probably like, I know we said Mickey Mouse and all of that was quite, there was these ideas of being quite out there and quite globalization and all that. But coming from the US and so on, I still think there is, there's a certain conservatism to Disney that probably lines up quite well with someone who's part of the Christian Democratic Union. I think that fits quite well. I don't know if there's anything else I'd say though, really. Oh, yeah, no, there you go. One other reason he might like her. She has a doctorate in quantum chemistry, and he was once a wizard, and those are quite similar.
Okay, should we now take questions from the floor?
Yes, I have a question. Are you acting as Shan Yu, or are you just discussing out on behalf of Shan Yu? I just want to know how to address you.
I don't want to offend anybody with my terrible accent, so I will be speaking on behalf of Shan Yu.
Okay, Shan Yu's counselor. Naturally, if you're supporting Trump as a world leader, how do you think this is going to affect relationships with China, especially considering your historical background in this area?
I think me and Trump both have a very similar view on China. China has too much power, in my opinion. Not only when they built that wall did it mock Shan Yu, but their trade policy is certainly mocking the US trade policy and their domination over the global stage. So I think that, my view and Trump's view align very much on this matter, and we will be taking tough measures towards China to reduce them as a superpower.
Just silence. Shit, that answer was really good.
It was so hard not to laugh during that. It was amazing. Oh, God.
What's like the usual format? Would I have to ask you?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, somebody else, or you can ask how Mickey Mouse would deal with China. I'm sure Mickey Mouse doesn't have a plan for China. He'd just sell more of his cheap DVDs there, maybe. Yeah.
So as a follow-up, then, Mr. So again, are you speaking on behalf of Mickey Mouse?
Oh boy! No, I don't think I can do that for the whole episode. I'll speak on behalf of Mickey, I think.
the Right Chancellor on behalf of Mickey Mouse. What is your plan for China?
Well, I mean, I think Mickey would be happy to have closer ties with China. I mean, where else is most of Disney's merchandise built anyway? So I think it's reasonable to assume that Mickey would be pro reaching out to China and but like in a sensible way. Like he wouldn't just be like, oh yes, China. I think there'd be a discussion of, so famously, for example, Disney films have not been released in China much other than Mulan. So I think, Disney is well aware, and therefore Mickey by extension, of the difficulties of breaking into that market. And so I think it would be kind of a tit for tat kind of thing, where it's like, well, we're happy to trade with China, but it has to be on there has to be a discussion of the terms there, but it wouldn't be just like a put up a wall, and it wouldn't be introduce tariffs. I think it would be a more open policy, which would be more in line with how the EU views China as well.
You mentioned putting up a wall there. It just interests me to know, the Chancellor of Shan Yu, what are your feelings on putting up walls?
They work. Boy, do they work. Yeah. They keep people out. They keep invaders out. They stop an invasion across borders. That's why I think Trump should make sure every nation state in the entire world is walled, to make sure we have absolutely zero mixing, between people across those borders. Yeah, certainly after my wall experience and my time there, you just can't break down walls. That's not a realistic thing that you want to do. Look at that wall in China. It's still standing. And guess who paid for it? Me, in the battle with my men. So not doing that again. We'll build a wall around every nation state, and everybody can just be happy without having to impose their cultures on other people.
Shan Yu's representative, that seems quite a bit of a contradiction to what most would assume your standard kind of idea on freedom of movement would be. I believe you're well known for riding horses around quite freely and liberatingly. Why do you now want to constrain yourself?
Look, you saw the movie. I was defeated by a girl and a dragon voiced by Eddie Murphy. If walls just don't come down that easily. Challenge. It was too much of a challenge for me, and that's one of my big dislikes. Challenges. So that's why I've changed. I'm a changed man, and that's why I'm putting my support behind Trump at this time. The wall was a very personal time in my life, a very difficult time in my life. I'd appreciate if you didn't bring that up again. Thank you.
Mickey Mouse's representative.
Yes.
Naturally, conflicts and poverty are two big issues with the world, as always. I mean, they might sometimes be masked by other smaller things. But why do you think Merkel will be able to address these in agreement with your kind of ideals?
Well, I think we've seen from how Merkel acted in the refugee crisis that happened a few years ago, that she was very welcoming. And while she took some flack at home for that, she was understanding that these people, crossed from war-torn areas and all of that, and so was open to them coming and living and becoming citizens of Germany. And also the EU gives substantial aid to other poorer countries and other poorer states. So I think in general that lines up perfectly with our views of wanting to support people in poverty, and we want people to be able to have access. We want to improve the access to things worldwide, and the Disney company has had a long-standing tradition of philanthropy, which I think lines up with those views.
So are you suggesting then that the EU is going to become a big worldwide, the dominating worldwide power and distributor to these needs?
Well, I thought the point of this debate was to say who we would want to be world leader out of these two proposed people. So if Merkel was chosen as that leader, I think she would lean heavily on the support network she has within the EU. She already has those links and those countries who are willing to support a lot of what she does. So that would be the perfect opportunity to lean on those resources.
I would like to ask the representative of Shan Yu, coming from your background as what do you feel that your opposition here is supporting a woman for world leader?
Well, I'm glad, first of all, they're being so open about being a woman, because last time I fought one, they were not. I found out very late on and was, quite shocked. It was maybe a little embarrassing that, for me, with my background and it being whatever age it was back then, that I was defeated by a woman. But I'm very certain that Donald Trump won't be defeated by a woman. He's beaten one before in the past, and I think Donald Trump's views towards women are very well known. So I look forward to... Oh God, I feel like a terrible person saying all of this.
This is why I said you'd be better at playing devil's advocate.
Suddenly had a crisis of conscience. No, I feel that Donald Trump's record with women shows that he will be able to defeat them using any means necessary.
It's awful, but also probably true.
Are you suggesting then, Shan Yu's representative, that Shan Yu holds a grudge against women from the past, and that is why he is supporting the probably incredibly misogynist Donald Trump?
That may feed into it a bit. Yeah, because, like I said, there's some history there. Mulan was, look, I believe, they made a man out of her in the end, as I believe the song goes. And then she was able to find her destiny. Look, I don't want to be drawn into a big gender politics war on this. I think that Trump's values speak for themselves, and this is what I'm here to speak about today.
I'd then like to kind of direct that question towards Mickey Mouse's representative and to say, what do you feel about somebody with Trump's background towards women potentially running for world leader?
Well, obviously I'm opposed, and that's why I'm supporting Angela Merkel. And I think, possibly a lot of the problems we've had in the past might be, men have had a long time in the sun, let's say, all the time, since before Shan Yu was around. And I don't think there's necessarily a problem in letting a woman take the helm. And I think obviously Trump's views do not align with those of me or of most people, I would like to think.
Women cause avalanches.
Do you have any evidence for that?
100% of the women I've met have caused avalanches. If you put Merkel in charge, more avalanches. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail your argument like my entire army was buried under a mountain of snow. Please continue.
Yes, this is an open question. Speaking of armies, naturally, as a world leader, armies are going to be a very important topic for, what should we have armies? How strict should the management of these be? What are your thoughts on going forward into a world led by a world leader and the necessity for armies?
I think in a Trump-based world, we will have no need for armies. There will be world peace because we will all respect the walls. No armies will attack the walls. It's a bad idea. Therefore, no need for armies.
In the current climate, I don't think no one's talking of getting rid of the armies that countries already have. The world leader position is not not a dictatorial position. Countries can still maintain their own borders as they like, but one would like to see it overall as we go forward. Kind of, I suppose, as a federalization, you wouldn't need to have armies if eventually this world leader position leads to us having an overall world state. Then we wouldn't need to have armies in that situation, which would be great. That would reduce the need for fighting, which eventually would one day, over a long period of time, hopefully lead to true world peace.
Can I just say I don't think Mickey really has any experience when it comes to military leadership. Obviously, I do. I commanded an entire army for quite some time. Mickey put Goofy in charge of his army. Goofy. That's all I'm going to say.
Equally, though, you're suggesting that you're going to get rid of all armies. So
we're going to get rid of all armies, but just in case we need them, then Trump is going to be the best guy. I believe he's a strong leader. He'll make sure the armies defeat everybody else's. If you put Merkel in charge, she's going to get Mickey advice, and we're going to get some goofy surrogate in charge of something with a Keyblade. What's a Keyblade do? I don't know. Nobody knows.
Although Goofy is in charge of the Knights of the Disney Castle, which is what you're referring to, it is also true that the Disney Corporation owns the largest navy in the world. So there is some military background.
It's true. I think it is technically the largest flotilla, but yes, we'll take it.
Yes, I believe a lot of your experience of armies is land-based, Shan Yu. Naturally, if you're voting for a world leader, 70% of the world is covered in sea. Or what do you think Trump is going to do best to manage, preserve, and utilize our oceans?
I mean, he's not going to preserve those oceans. Boy, is he going to use them for something. I guess walls need a lot of cement. Cement needs a lot of water. What are the oceans really doing for us anyway? Not that much. So yeah, I'm cool with that. As long as my horses have got grass to feed on, I don't care. So yeah, I trust Trump with the oceans.
I'd like to ask an open question. With the stating of a new world leader, how much will individual countries be allowed to respect their own laws and cultures, or will they all be governed by one mandatory sort of system?
Well, I think it's as I've said, it's clear from what Merkel's done within working within the EU, which is it is a disparate set of states working together in common purpose, and that's what we'd be doing with Merkel as world leader. Those cultures are respected. We have documents in multiple languages, and yeah, there is a bit of an overhead to that, but it's the best way to be in democratic society and to allow everyone the chance to voice their opinions and to have their cultures protected.
Look, when Trump's in charge, you're not going to have to listen to you're not going to have to sing A Spoonful of Sugar as the new world national anthem, okay? You can sing whatever you want in your own damn country. The man's not going to keep you pressed down. Sure, America's going to do America, but Britain's going to do Britain. China's going to do China. Everybody's just going to keep to themselves, right? And as long as you don't get in each other's way, then it'll all be cool. So, yeah, that's our approach to the whole international agenda. There is no international agenda. There is no man keeping you down. I don't want Mickey on my dollar bills. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so we've heard a lot, and I think I'm getting a general feeling from the audience that you think that Trump and Shan Yu are bad people. But I'd like to, ensure there were a couple of villagers who got in our way, and that scene with the doll, yeah, whatever. But I'd like to remind you that Disney is responsible for Home on the Range, an animated film so bad in 2005 nobody saw it. They've been responsible for the continuation of the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, a franchise that should have ended. Maybe could have got away with a sequel, okay, but the last one just come out. It's completely rubbish. And most importantly, in 2009, Jonas Brothers, the 3D concert experience. Do you really trust Mickey Mouse to support somebody to rule the entire world when he can't even run his own corporation, right? Okay? That is why you need to support Shan Yu and Trump for world leader. Thank you very much.
Well, I mean, I think it's interesting that Shan Yu would choose to go against, say such things about the Disney Corporation when he obviously cut a paycheck from us back in the time of Mulan. But, it was 20-odd years ago. We understand. People move on. People change. But, speaking on behalf of Mickey is not the be-all and end-all of Disney. He is a mascot. He's an ambassador, true, but he's not the person who runs the place. He is just here to represent the corporation's views on why Merkel should be chosen as world leader. And I don't think, we don't necessarily expect him to have the financial acumen. That's why we have accountants. So, yes. I think overall we're saying that we would like a more open, a more tolerant world, and out of the two options presented, that's certainly Merkel.
More avalanches, though.
Play the ball, of course.
Cheers from crowd.
Yeah. Somebody's waving a banner or flag or something.
Well, I suppose it's up to you, our two listeners, our two hosts from the other show, to decide on a winner, in your view. Do you want to deliberate?
Yes.
I feel like it was both argued well. I don't like the idea of every single country being walled off. I feel like that's bad. But that being said, I would love to see the trending tweet, women cause avalanches.
The problem I'm having is that obviously, like, we're not trying to think who we want for world leader. We're thinking who argued the best for their world leader.
Yes.
Which is a very different argument.
It is.
Because otherwise it'd be like, well, Angela Merkel, because Donald Trump's a bit of a nut.
That's it.
Wade does not mince his words with his opinions.
No.
I mean, I think referring to him as an absolute tolerant.
I mean, I don't know if you're like, from my perspective, your sound cut out. Then it was like automatic muting, automatic censorship.
What CK said was so bad, his opinion of Trump, that it cannot be aired.
I mean, if we were being honest. Well, what arguments did you like?
Shan Yu's representatives' arguments were very in line with what I would expect from Donald Trump.
Yes.
They were very informative but blunt. And sometimes possibly misguided by their own opinion, which is obviously an opinion of itself. But they were very opinionated rather than fact-based. Whereas Mickey Mouse's...
I mean, to be fair, nobody has seen him on that.
Mickey Mouse's representatives' arguments seemed a bit more evidentially based, in my perception.
Yes, he was often able to refer back to things that happened. Say, well, this is what we'd do going forward, but on a larger scale.
In my untrained political vision. So therefore, if I was if I was hiring a political representative out of Mickey Mouse and Shan Yu, based on these, I would probably give it to Mickey Mouse's representative, as I feel they could give a bit more political swing. Having said that, however, it is well known that Donald Trump is incredibly successful in America, and America is one of the biggest countries in the world, and therefore Shan Yu's arguments were well designed and well tailored to a large audience, especially in a climate where, quote unquote, people are fed up with experts.
I very much felt like Shan Yu's representative was able to bring maybe a slightly greater air of charisma into his speech, whereas Mickey Mouse's representative actually had facts.
The old charisma versus facts argument. It's as old as time.
That's what it boils down to, doesn't it?
It's a very good point. And obviously politicians and people who are debating, they do have to have charisma and a personality, because if otherwise you just end up being Ed Miliband eating a sandwich.
Yeah, that's it. I was going to say, nobody wants that.
Meanwhile, in the Milliverse, everything is fine.
Everything is fine and dandy. Everyone has bacon sandwiches. Everyone.
I mean, to be fair, if somebody was going to campaign a world where everyone had bacon sandwiches.
Everyone just has the exact same awkward photo of themselves eating a bacon sandwich hung up on their wall, and it just says, "Thanks, Ed Miliband. We love you." Yeah, this is tough. And there's only two of us, which is really awkward because there's not three of us. Oh man, how do I decide a winner?
I don't mind being the deciding vote.
That's very Trump of you.
Which does sway me.
Even if I lose, I will have won on the Electoral College, so I think it's fine.
Okay. So do you want to we'll both pick a person, and maybe do you want to do like type it in on the count of 5 or something, as we did with the rock paper scissors?
Yeah. Okay. I need to give me minutes to. I say minutes. I mean a short period of time to debate this in my mind even more. I'm trying to think who gave better arguments.
Yeah, it's almost a shame that we can't have a playback, isn't it?
Yes. When are we going?
For the listeners at home, an avalanche GIF has just been posted by an impatient Rob. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thunderbirds are go. Oh,
Yeah,
swayed by charisma.
that's it.
And that's
Yes.
why you end up with people like Trump.
I
Oh.
know.
Yes.
Charisma has it.
I mean, in fairness, I did expect Rob to win whatever position he was given, because I imagine he's had a bit more experience of this and is also a bit more politically knowledgeable.
I feel that your arguments were your responses, Mickey Mouse's representative, were far more thought through and informative. But from a political point of view, I think Shan Yu did a better job of reflecting how he wanted, how his views were reflected in Donald Trump.
Fair enough. That's fair.
Yeah, I felt like clearly you had ideas I actually liked more.
Yeah.
But you still voted for Shan Yu. It's brilliant, isn't it? This post-truth universe we're living in.
But that's it. I'm a sucker for anyone who can make me laugh. No, yeah, I felt he very much encapsulated a Trump mentality.
Yeah, I think probably, and I mean, in all honesty, I have definitely seen less of Merkel on TV than I have of Trump. I definitely think I could. I mean, I'm still occasionally blown away when you see some of Trump's speeches, like how far down that rhetorical rabbit hole he goes. But I definitely have more of an understanding of how he puts himself across, and whereas like I just have a general impression that Merkel has been doing the job for a while and pretty good at it. With a few facts sprinkled in.
Yes, the fact that he's been there so long suggests he is doing good at it.
I think something that will be coming up at some point on actual unparliamentary language will be the fact that she's stepping down soon, I believe.
Yes, she is, yeah.
Yeah, she's decided. Well, basically, she's not going to be head of the party going into the next election. So I don't know exactly when it is and when the next election is, but essentially that's what's happening. Cool. Well, that was fun. I enjoyed it. It's not the kind of thing I have to do very often. Like, I'm quite good at making cases for stuff I am knowledgeable about. But normally, like in a kind of scientific context, oh, why did you do this thing? Oh, I did this thing because X, Y, Z. The kind of political, charismatic discussions are not a thing I really have to do outside. I mean, it's a long time since I've been involved in student politics, so it's not really a thing I have to do anymore. So it was kind of interesting to do. I'm not surprised that Rob is a better debater than I am.
A master debater.
Exactly. I've spent a lot of time in my room by myself just debating away, so yeah. Happy to finally share it with somebody.
I believe that's what you got married for.
Oh yeah, and that too, yeah.
I mean, so if you're listening to us, this is on our feed, you know who we are, Rob and I. We did give an introduction to Wade and CK before, but would you like to plug yourselves, plug your show? If you want, I mean, it's not full of politics. It's quite different. So would you like to maybe give your potted summary for people?
So what we do is we will have two fictional characters, much like we have done today, and they will be pitted against each other in a fight to the brink of death. For our entertainment, really. And a lot of these fantasy sort of fight things exist. What makes ours, I think, largely different is the Die of Death.
What is the Die of Death?
The Die of Death is my idea that Wade tells me isn't patented, which is very upsetting. But basically,
But it could be trademarked.
Yes. We roll a d20, and we have a list of 20 locations, and then that determines randomly where the fight is taking place. We do sort of say to our fans, feel free to suggest locations for this to be added to the Die of Death list, and we also say to them they can suggest fighters to take place in the episodes. So we're very open to contribution from the audience.
So if you want to have two fictional characters fighting, well, I mean, suggest them away if they've not already been in an episode. Where is your podcast hosted?
On ThinkTaylorSoldierSponge.com.
Funny that. This is
right?
kind of a crossover episode. Yeah, but if you go to the top of the website, you'll find a podcast drop down and you can find Mishmash Mayhem there, or it is just TinkerTaylorSoldierSponge.com/mishmash. And I think you have 16 episodes up at the time of recording, which hopefully will also be by the time this goes up. So, but yeah, you'll have a new one out next week, so there'll be 17 maybe by the time you hear this. I mean, I've been enjoying it. I've liked seeing how the show has changed as well. So, you've gone from you've slightly modified how you ran things from the very beginning, and introducing the Die of the Death and more listener suggestions. I think is good. I don't know if any of mine have come up yet. I can't remember. I suggested a few very early on.
Yes, actually, I was really annoyed. I realised after we recorded it that I forgot to mention it. But you actually gave us the very first fan submission, and it finally came up in episode 16.
Ah, okay.
And then I was Ryu Hobu.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking about the locations. But yes, I must have suggested that a long time ago. Yes. Oh yeah. No, that was cool to listen to because he is the ultimate ninja.
Yeah, and I will
ninja.
acknowledge you in episode 17. And I've forgotten 16. Fan locations for arenas? No, I don't think any have come up yet. We have a couple on the list.
I think it's more, when you have a random chart, because you're picking the characters right from a list, whereas
no, they're random as well. We've both got a list of 6, and we do a D6 roll.
Okay, it's just slightly more likely with the D6, because if you'd already made a list of 20 and a few people are, well, it's also just random chance.
It is.
Anyway, yeah.
You see, now I am rapidly going to the website to submit my own. If
Please do.
submittable there.
To submit them, if you go to our Twitter at podcastmmm,
Twitter,
would probably be the best place. Or if you can, we've got our email address recently set up, which is podcastmmm@gmail.com. If you send them there, those would be the two places best to submit.
Will do.
They're the two places I actually don't.
I mean, I definitely think we need to suggest something like the Bundestag or or maybe the the EU Hall of Representatives, whatever that's actually called. I don't know the actual term for it.
Okay, yeah, I was going to go for the car park of a travel lodge, but okay.
Mundane and political places.
Yeah.
This I mean, I feel like the mundane ones are better. Like we mentioned earlier, we had the Southwest train going from Southampton to London Waterloo.
That was hilarious. Possibly my favourite episode.
At the ice cream factory area of a Pizza Hut.
I mean, that was clear. But then,
yeah.
These are the kind of things we want.
Yeah, and we had quite a good one recently where it was in the back of a taxi going down some really long road in Australia. But then we've also had really ridiculous things we had on top of Mount Doom came up. We had actually what was fun recently. We had in the Kanto region Safari Zone from Pokemon.
That was good. I liked that as
cool.
well. That was good. Yeah, with the random safari rangers turning up to stop the fight because you're not allowed to fight.
Yeah, so we're open to pretty much anything as a suggestion. It could be something weird and fictional, or something just random and normal.
A mix of all is good.
Yeah, definitely the contrast.
Yeah, I mean, go and listen to Mishmash Mayhem if you enjoy the kind of silly comedy podcast where people get fictional characters and fight them, kind of in the oeuvre of plumbing the Death Star and stuff like that. If you like those kind of shows, I'm sure you'll like it. I enjoy it. It's a nice break from the kind of more serious stuff I tend to listen to. And I think we're going to do a reciprocal episode at some point in the nearish future on your feed as well. So that will be, I suppose, making you have two political figures fight would be the only solution.
I believe that
the
is
Die
the
of
idea.
Death may make that interesting.
Yes. Yeah, so that, I mean, who knows?
So yes, this has been Unparliamentary Mayhem, a mix-up between Mishmash Mayhem and Unparliamentary Language. You can find us in all the usual places that I normally run off. So you can find us at /r/unparliamentary on Reddit. You can find us as Unparliamentary Language on Facebook. You can find us at Unparl Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And obviously you can find us at parliamentary.observer, where you can go and comment on our episodes. And and just find us out and about there and let us know what your opinions are. I hope you liked this idea of a crossover show. It's a bit different and breaks up kind of between the more serious Brexit episodes we've been doing. See you in a week. After all of that, there's nothing more for me to say than it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
And it's goodbye from us.
From them.
Yay.
Oh, cool. Yes, yours was better. Well done.
Yeah.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye.
Catch you all late.
Hello and welcome to Unparliamentary Mayhem, a mishmash podcast that is going to be full of... that didn't work because I've already said mayhem in the sentence. See, it takes me a few takes because I haven't actually written this one out. Hello and welcome to Unparliamentary Mayhem. Mayhem.
I love Mayhem.
Hello and welcome to Unparliamentary... I started laughing during that one. Hello and welcome to Unparliamentary Mayhem, a mishmashed podcast that will take us... where's it going to take us, guys?
Couple of hours, apparently.
Give me a sec. Hello and welcome to Unparliamentary Mayhem. No, that was far too slow. Hello and welcome to Unparliamentary Mayhem, a podcast that will...